The most dangerous place you can ever live is not in a violent neighborhood or a risky city. It is inside a negative mind. When your thoughts become your prison, every step feels heavy. Every choice feels uncertain. Every dream feels out of reach. And here's the raw truth. If you keep thinking the same way you've always thought, you'll keep feeling the same way you've always felt. And that's why so many people stay stuck for years, even decades. They wake up with doubts swirling through their head. They carry fear with them throughout the day. They go to bed feeling defeated, telling themselves tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow comes and nothing changes. Not because of bad luck, not because the universe is against them, but because of one simple reason: untrained thinking. Your thoughts are either helping you or hurting you. There is no in-between. Every single idea that passes through your mind is shaping your emotions, guiding your decisions, and building your identity. And the tragic part is, most people have no idea that they can take control of this process. They think thoughts just happen, and they accept them as unchangeable. This audiobook, Stop Negative Thoughts Forever. The quick fix is your turning point. This is not about motivational hype. This is not about filling you with empty positivity. This is about training your mind the way you would train a muscle, deliberately, consistently, and with precision, so that it begins working for you instead of against you. You're going to learn how to break the cycle of overthinking, silence the inner noise, and finally take command of the most powerful tool you will ever own: your mind. And I want you to stay with me all the way through. Don't skip. Don't rush. Absorb every word. Because the small ideas you hear in this audiobook have the power to shift the trajectory of your entire life. So let's begin. This is the first step if you truly want to stop negative thoughts forever. Your mind is powerful. It is capable of creating visions, inventions, art, and solutions that can change the world. But here's the catch. It is also noisy. Every single day, your mind throws out thousands of thoughts. Some are useful, but many, maybe most, are doubts, fears, and reminders of mistakes you made long ago. The problem is not that these thoughts exist. The problem is that most people believe every single one of them as if each thought carries the weight of absolute truth. That blind acceptance is why so many people stay stuck. They accept the voice in their head that says, "You're not good enough. You will fail. You can't change." And they let that voice dictate their life without ever questioning it. But here's the shift that changes everything. A thought is only a thought. It is not reality. It is not the truth. And it does not deserve automatic trust. Think about it. If a stranger walked up to you in the street and whispered something cruel, would you immediately accept it as fact? Of course not. You would question it. You might even laugh and walk away. So why do we treat our own negative thoughts as gospel truth? Why do we let the whispers of fear, doubt, and insecurity run our lives? If you want the quick fix, it begins here. Stop believing everything your mind throws at you. The very first move is to become aware of what is happening inside your head. Most people live on autopilot, swimming through their thoughts as if they have no choice but to believe them. But you must learn to pause. When a thought shows up, slow down and ask yourself, is this true? Does this thought help me grow, or does it drag me down? That simple moment of questioning is the spark of freedom. You start to separate yourself from the endless chatter. You realize that not every voice in your head deserves a seat at the table. Your thoughts are not laws carved in stone. They are suggestions like options on a menu. You get to choose which ones you accept and which ones you reject. If you hear, "You're not capable," recognize it for what it is, a suggestion. If you hear, "You will fail," recognize it as an opinion, not a prophecy. The difference is massive. When you treat thoughts as commands, you feel trapped. But when you treat them as suggestions, you regain choice. You can say, "Thank you for the input," and then walk away from the thought that doesn't serve you. This is where real power begins. If your mind throws out a negative thought, don't just reject it, replace it. If you hear, "I always fail," stop and say, "I am learning and I can improve." If you hear, "I'm not smart enough," replace it with, "I can get smarter every day." This is not pretending. This is not lying to yourself. This is training your brain to build new patterns. And the more you practice, the stronger those new patterns become. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but these thoughts feel so real. And you're right, they do. Because thoughts come with emotions attached. When you think, I'm not enough, your chest tightens. When you think about failing, your stomach twists. When you think life is too hard, your body feels heavy. But remember this, feelings are triggered by thoughts. And if you change the thought, you can change the feeling. That's why refusing to believe every thought is so powerful. Because you stop letting your emotions be controlled by lies. Imagine you want to start a business, improve your health, or speak in front of a group. The moment you think about it, your mind throws out, "You're not ready." If you believe that thought, you feel fear. You hesitate. You give up. But if you say, "That's just a thought, not the truth," and replace it with, "I can prepare and take one step today," suddenly your emotion shifts. Your action changes. Your life moves forward. That is the power of separating yourself from your thoughts. You might be wondering, how do I know which thoughts to believe? Here's the simple rule. Trust the thoughts that move you closer to your goals, your values, and the person you want to become. Reject the thoughts that keep you stuck in fear, regret, or doubt. Deep down, you already know which ones serve you and which ones sabotage you. Negative thoughts don't appear out of nowhere. They grow from what you feed your brain. If you constantly consume negativity, angry news, toxic conversations, endless complaints, your mind will reflect it back. But if you feed your brain with learning, positive voices, and inspiring people, your thoughts will start to shift. Your mind can only throw at you what you give it. So choose carefully. One of the fastest ways to break the power of a thought is to write it down. I can't succeed. Write it on paper. Then look at it and ask, is this always true? Is there evidence against it? What would happen if I acted anyway? Writing creates distance. It shows you that a thought is just a sentence, not a reality. And that distance gives you the power to choose differently. Think about how many dreams have died because someone believed they weren't good enough. Think about how many opportunities have been lost because someone believed they might fail. Think about how many relationships were destroyed because someone believed they didn't deserve love. The cost is enormous. But the fix begins here, with you, with the decision that from now on, you will no longer believe every random thought that passes through your head. Let's be clear. This is not something you do once and it's done. Your mind will keep throwing thousands of thoughts at you every day. Your job is to filter them. Your job is to question them. Your job is to remind yourself, not every thought is worth my trust. That daily practice is what builds a powerful mind. Here's what I want you to do today. Pay attention. Notice when a thought makes you feel weak, afraid, or unworthy. Pause. Ask, do I want to believe this? Does this move me forward? If the answer is no, release it. Then replace it with something that builds you. This is the quick fix. Not to stop all thoughts, but to choose the ones that deserve to stay. And once you practice this long enough, everything changes. Negative thoughts lose their grip. They show up less often. And when they do, they pass quickly. Because you've trained your mind to work for you, not against you. This is the first key to stopping negative thoughts forever. Stop believing every thought your mind throws at you. Take back your power. Take back your control. Decide today that only the thoughts that strengthen you, build you, and push you forward will have a place in your mind. This decision is the beginning of your new chapter. A chapter built on clarity, strength, and progress. If Chapter 1 taught you to stop believing every thought, then Chapter 2 teaches you to interrogate the story that those thoughts are working for. Because negative thinking is rarely random. It's a script. A familiar soundtrack your mind keeps looping underneath your day. You might change cities, switch careers, or meet new people, but if the soundtrack stays the same, your experience of life doesn't. The names and places change. The plot does not. Listen closely and you'll hear the greatest hits of your inner critic. I'm not good enough. I always mess it up. Nothing ever works out for me. I don't deserve love/attention/success. Sometimes these sentences hide behind sophisticated language. The timing just isn't right. People like me never make it. I'm just being realistic. But if you strip the sentence down to its core, the story is the same: you can't, you won't, you shouldn't. And because the brain loves efficiency, it keeps recycling that old story anytime you approach risk, change, intimacy, or growth. Every story has a beginning. Maybe yours started with a parent who said, "Don't get your hopes up." Maybe it began in a classroom where one embarrassing moment felt like a verdict on your intelligence. Maybe it came from a friend's careless joke that landed like a knife and never got pulled out. Your brain took a snapshot of that moment and mislabeled it permanent truth. It wasn't trying to ruin your future. It was trying to keep you safe. But safe and small often travel together. Here's what your mind forgets. You are no longer the person who lived that moment. You've read more pages, fought more battles, learned more skills, survived more storms. Yet the narrator in your head keeps reading you chapter 1 as if the book never moved forward. The first rule of reclaiming your mind's microphone is this: stop being a passive listener. Become an active editor. Passive listeners nod along to whatever the narrator says. Active editors mark up the script. The 4-question interrogation for any negative story. What exactly is the story? Name it precisely. Not "I feel off," but "The story says I always fail at new things." Where did it come from? Identify the scene. Who said it? When? What was your age, skill level, and emotional state then? What evidence contradicts it? Today? List times you didn't fail, were respected, improved, or succeeded. What story serves me now? Write a version that is true, useful, and forward-facing. I've failed and learned. When I show up consistently, I improve and win. Write your answers on paper. Seeing the lie in ink weakens its magic. A story unexamined controls you. A story examined becomes raw material. The update the script method. You're not denying reality. You're updating it. Try this 3-step rewrite. Acknowledge the old script. My mind is playing the "I'm not ready" track. Disarm with facts. I wasn't ready 5 years ago. Since then I've learned a practice B, shift C. Install the new line. I'm ready enough to start and smart enough to adjust. Repeat your new line out loud. Not a whisper, say it with breath. The body needs to hear the truth too. Negative stories have triggers. Silence after you send a message, an unfamiliar meeting, a typing bubble that disappears, a partner's tired face, a bill with a bigger number than you expected. These moments are story bait. Your brain tries to protect you by predicting pain. If you don't intervene, you'll live in prediction instead of participation. Build a trigger map. Trigger. Email from your boss, automatic story. I'm in trouble. Trigger. Partner is quiet, automatic story. They're unhappy with me. Trigger. New opportunity, automatic story. I'll blow it. Now add a pattern breaker for each. A breath. A physical reset. Stand. Stretch. Sip water, and one question. What else could be true? Maybe your boss is traveling. Maybe your partner is tired. Maybe the opportunity picked you because your preparation shows. Your nervous system relaxes when your imagination widens. Stories aren't only mental. They recruit the body. I'm unsafe, slumps the shoulders, tightens the jaw, and shortens the breath. Posture becomes prophecy. This is why shifting your physiology is not woo. It's wiring. Inhale through the nose for a count of 4, hold 2, exhale through the mouth for 6. Repeat 10 times. Roll your shoulders back and down. Expand your chest. Place both feet flat. Speak the replacement story out loud while standing tall. The brain updates its threat assessment based on breath, posture, and tone. Change those 3 and the old story loses evidence. Your inner prosecutor cherry-picks failures. Your job is to become your own defense attorney. Start an evidence bank, a running list of moments you did the opposite of your negative story. A time you learned quickly. A time you handled pressure. A time you were chosen. A time consistency paid off. A time you repaired a mistake. Review this bank every morning for 30 days. You are training recall. The brain believes what it can retrieve. Write yesterday's repeating negative line. Write 3 facts from yesterday that contradict it. Write today's winning line. Clear, brief, believable. Visualize 10 slow breaths. One scene today where you'll act from the new line. Commit to one micro-action under 10 minutes. That proves the new line. You're not waiting for confidence. You're manufacturing it by stacking proof. No. Positive thinking ignores data. Accurate thinking integrates it. I failed before is data. Therefore I will always fail is distortion. We replace distortion with dynamic truth. I've failed and learned. With structure and patience I perform better. That's not fluff. That's a strategy. When you first question your script, the old narrator gets louder. It will present evidence, remind you of old scars, and accuse you of delusion. Treat this as a sign of progress. Neural pathways protest when they're being rewritten. Keep going. The volume decreases when the brain realizes the new story produces better outcomes. Would you say your inner monologue to a dear friend word for word after they tried something hard? If the answer is no, it has no business directing your life. Upgrade your tone to match the standard you use for people you love. You're one of them. The goal is not to delete every negative thought. The goal is to stop letting yesterday's echo choose today's story. Your past can educate you, but it cannot be allowed to author you. Skill, talent, and opportunity matter, but many people collapse long before those variables even enter the equation. Why? Because they bleed out confidence all day through 1,000 tiny cuts called self-criticism. It doesn't arrive as a shout. It arrives as a murmur. That was dumb. You look terrible. You blew it again. If an enemy spoke to you like this, you'd block them. But when it's your own voice, you call it being honest. Let's be blunt. Self-criticism is not honesty. It's sabotage without a plan for repair. Real honesty names the gap and builds a bridge. Self-criticism names the gap and pushes you into it. Self-criticism confuses identity with instance. Instance, I forgot the email. Identity, the lie, I'm careless. Instance, the pitch didn't land. Identity, the lie, I'm a failure. When you attach identity to every misstep, you make growth impossible. Behavior can be corrected. Identity feels permanent. The fix is to guard this sentence structure with your life. I didn't sir. Next time I will sir. Keep the I am statements for traits you want to strengthen. I am consistent. I am patient in process. I am a finisher. Recognize the moment. Catch the micro-attack within 5 seconds. Rephrase from identity to behavior. I missed a detail. Next time I'll checklist. Replace with a constructive command. Set a 2-minute review alarm before sending. This is not motivational jargon. It's operations. You're refactoring your mental code. Elite performers aren't soft on effort. They're soft on identity. After a miss, they ask precise questions. What did the data say? Which rep failed? What do I adjust? Self-contempt blurs vision. Compassion sharpens it. Compassion is not an excuse. It's the speed lane back to execution. Ask better questions. Not why am I like this? What variable broke? Not what's wrong with me? What process will prevent a repeat? Not I can't do this. What's the smallest winnable chunk I can do now? Stand tall. Look yourself in the eye. Say one sentence that honors effort and issues a command. I respect my effort. Today I execute the plan, no drama. You're teaching your nervous system that pressure doesn't require punishment. Imagine your closest friend just failed publicly. Write 3 sentences you'd say to them, supportive, specific, actionable. Now say those sentences to yourself, out loud, substituting your name. Do this daily for 7 days. You're not inflating ego. You're calibrating tone to reality. Perfectionism starves confidence because nothing ever counts. The scoreboard only lights up at flawless, which never arrives. Progress thinking lights the board constantly. 1% better today. 1 more rep. 1 more call. 1 more page. Confidence doesn't need fireworks. It needs evidence. Progress scorecard, evening, 3 minutes. 1 thing I finished. 1 thing I improved. 1 promise I kept to myself. Store these in your evidence bank. The repetition is the intervention. Often, your critic speaks in someone else's voice, an authority figure who was shamed and passed the baton. Understanding origin isn't about blame. It's about ownership. When you can say, "That voice isn't mine," you create space to choose a better one. The brain doesn't privilege truth. It privileges repetition. Tell it anything often enough and it wires in. This is why "I'm worthless" feels true. You're not feeling truth, you're feeling frequency. Switch the frequency. Repeat constructive lines more often than destructive ones and the felt truth flips. I'm learning how to do this. I succeed when I stay consistent. I finish what I start. I do hard things in small steps. Say them while moving, walking, light push-ups. Motion glues message. 2-minute breath plus posture reset. 3 minutes visualize one tough scene going well. Watch your future self handle it. 3 minutes execute the smallest step toward a meaningful goal. 2-minute log a win in your evidence bank. Do this for 14 days. Confidence rises when your days collect proof faster than your critic collects complaints. Self-criticism blooms in toxic soil. Doom scrolling, comparison loops, complaint circles. Prune the inputs. Unfollow the feeds that spike inadequacy. Mute the threads that perform outrage for entertainment. Replace with learning, craft, and quiet. Your mind becomes the room it lives in. You cannot bully yourself into greatness. You can only build yourself there. Respect is a discipline. Clear plans, clean environments, precise language, kind corrections, consistent reps. Treat yourself like someone whose future matters because it d. Well, yes, fear is fast. It doesn't ask for permission. It grabs the controls. The moment you consider a meaningful action, speaking up, applying, launching, loving, fear floods the channel with what-ifs. Breath shortens, shoulders rise, stomach tightens, and suddenly avoidance feels like wisdom. Let's set the record straight. The goal isn't to feel fearless. That's a myth. The goal is to act while fear is present, to interrupt the reflex before it becomes a decision. Fear announces itself physically before it explains itself mentally. Train yourself to notice the earliest signals. A micro flinch, a swallow, a quick glance for escape. Build a personal tell list and keep it on your phone. The faster you label it, "This is fear," the less authority it has. Ask, if fear makes the choice for me right now, what will it cost me in 24 hours? In 24 months? Let the long-term cost speak louder than the short-term discomfort. Avoidance feels cheap today and bankrupt tomorrow. Countdown. 5-4-3-2-1. Move. Send the message. Raise the hand. Hit publish. Book the call. Fear inflates with time. You deflate it with motion. Action first, analysis second. Fear feasts on the uncontrollable. Shrink the frame to what's in your hands for the next 10 minutes. You can't control applause. You can control preparation. You can't control acceptance. You can control submission volume. You can't control outcomes. You can control outputs. Performance breath. In 4/hold 2/out 6. Repeat 5 rounds. Lengthening the exhale tells the nervous system, we're not in danger. Fear respects chemistry more than pep talks. Fear says, they'll laugh. But your evidence bank says, some will, most won't, and the ones who matter will help. Fear says, if I fail, it's over. But history says, failures were classrooms, not courtrooms. Collect counter-evidence in advance. Read it when the sirens start. Don't wait for the big win to validate bravery. Celebrate the send, not just the yes. Courage compounds when it's noticed. Fear will always try to rush you into retreat. It thrives in speed and panic. The key is not to pretend you're fearless, but to slow the moment down and give yourself room to act. Here are field-tested strategies you can use anytime fear tries to steer your life. 1. Anchor to the present. Fear loves to project you into an imagined disaster. Next week, next year, 10 steps ahead. Pull yourself back by asking, what is the very next step I can take right now? Not the whole staircase, just one step. Fear cannot survive when you shrink the timeline. 2. Use physical interrupts. Your body is fear's loudspeaker. Interrupt the broadcast. Stand up. Shake your arms. Walk quickly across the room. Even 5 push-ups or a deep stretch resets your nervous system. Movement tells your brain, we are in action, not in paralysis. 3. Flip the fear script. When your brain says, what if it goes wrong? Reply instantly, what if it goes right? Fear feeds on one-sided imagination. Balance it with possibility. Often the truth lies somewhere in the middle, but courage lives on the side of hope. 4. Time limit the decision. Fear gets louder the longer you stall. Set a countdown. In the next 2 minutes, I will send this email. By 5 p.m., I will make this call. Deadlines cut off fear's oxygen supply. 5. Borrow courage from your. Remember a time when you felt the same fear but acted anyway. Did the worst-case scenario happen? Probably not. Even if it did, you survived. That memory is proof. Keep a written list of fear wins from your past and read them before you step into new challenges. You don't need to slay a dragon every day. You just need daily microdoses of courage. Speak up when you normally would stay quiet. Try one new thing each week. Small acts of bravery rewire your brain so that courage feels familiar, not foreign. Instead of hearing fear as stop, hear it as pay attention. This matters. Fear is proof that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And outside the comfort zone is exactly where growth lives. Every time fear makes your choice, you teach your brain avoidance. Avoidance then becomes a reflex. Slowly your world shrinks. You stop applying. You stop speaking. You stop dreaming. One day you look back and realize fear didn't just make you safe, it made you small. But each time you act in spite of fear, you teach your brain a different lesson. I can do hard things while afraid. And that identity is unstoppable. Fear multiplies in silence. Keep your dreams and struggles to yourself, and fear echoes louder. But share them with someone supportive, and courage expands. Surround yourself with people who normalize risk, who remind you of your strength when you forget it. Fear weakens in the presence of encouragement. Don't just wait for big wins. Celebrate the moments fear lost control of your decision, even the tiny ones. Write them down. Share them. Treat them as victories. Each celebration conditions your brain to crave courage. The goal is not elimination. The goal is domination. You get to decide whether fear is a quiet passenger in the back seat or the one grabbing the wheel. Once you learn to interrupt fear in real time, you become free to act boldly, not because fear is gone, but because fear no longer commands your obedience. Here's a secret most people never learn. Your brain is always predicting. It constantly runs little simulations about what will happen next. And those predictions shape your emotions and actions long before reality even arrives. Most people's brains are trained by years of disappointment, criticism, or self-doubt to expect the worst. They walk into opportunities already preparing for defeat. They start new projects already bracing for failure. They enter relationships already anticipating rejection. And the tragic part? That expectation often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. When your brain expects failure, you act hesitant, you give less effort, and you quit sooner. The results confirm your fears, and the cycle repeats. But here's the flip side. If you train your brain to expect good, everything changes. You approach life with confidence, energy, and belief. That expectation fuels effort. Effort fuels results. And results reinforce the expectation. It becomes a self-fulfilling cycle of progress. Before you can change it, you have to catch it. Pay attention to your first thought when you face something new. Do you imagine it going wrong? Do you mentally prepare for embarrassment? Do you already see yourself losing before you've started? If so, you've trained your brain to expect failure. But the good news? Training works both ways. This one question has the power to crack open the door of possibility. The next time your brain whispers, you'll blow it, counter with, but what if I crush it? Even imagining a good outcome shifts your body. Your posture changes. Your breath deepens. Your energy rises. Possibility rewires physiology. Your brain can only predict based on the library you've given it. If you only focus on problems, failures, and disappointments, your predictions will always lean negative. So start building a new library. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that went right. They don't need to be huge. Maybe you finished a task. Maybe you kept a promise. Maybe you handled stress calmly. Over time, this daily collection of good evidence teaches your brain that success is not rare. It's normal. Each morning, spend a few minutes picturing your day going well. See yourself solving problems. See yourself handling pressure. See yourself walking into meetings with confidence. The brain doesn't perfectly distinguish between imagination and memory. Repeated visualizations become mental rehearsals. Your brain begins to expect what it has seen over and over. Words are commands to your brain. Saying, "I'll probably fail," programs your system to prepare for defeat. Saying, "I'll handle this well," programs it to prepare for strength. This is not empty self-talk. It's linguistic training. The phrases you repeat are instructions your brain follows. Negativity is contagious. Spend too much time around people who expect the worst, and their outlook infects you. Spend time around people who expect growth, and their belief rubs off. Your environment is like soil. Make sure you're planted where optimism can grow. Expectation is not fantasy. It's fuel. A person who expects failure hesitates, holds back, and gives minimal effort. A person who expects good acts boldly, invests deeply, and perseveres longer. Both may face setbacks, but only the second keeps moving forward until success arrives. Expecting good doesn't mean expecting perfection. It means expecting growth, progress, and learning. Sometimes the good is the lesson, not the trophy. Sometimes the good is the progress, not the prize. With this mindset, failure becomes temporary, not final. Each morning, write 1 line. Today I expect to find progress. Today I expect to learn something valuable. Today I expect to move forward. This small act sets your brain's filter for the day. Your focus shapes your perception, and perception shapes your reality. Notice how your body responds when you expect failure. Your shoulders slump, your energy drains, your voice weakens. Now notice how your body feels when you expect good. Your posture straightens, your tone sharpens, your energy lifts. Expectation is not just mental, it's physical. Carry yourself as if you expect growth, and your brain will follow. One day of expecting good feels nice. A week builds momentum. A month begins to rewire your default. A year transforms your identity. By then, you no longer need to remind yourself, it's automatic. Your brain predicts growth the way it used to predict failure. You don't need to control every outcome. You don't need to guarantee every win. But you must control your expectation. Because your expectation determines your energy. And your energy shapes your action. And action is what creates results. So train your brain to expect good. Not because life is easy. Not because everything will work perfectly. But because when you expect good, you give yourself the best chance to create it. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to poison your confidence. It sneaks in quietly. You're scrolling on your phone, you see someone's polished life update, and suddenly you feel behind. You hear about a colleague's promotion, and you immediately shrink. You notice someone's appearance, and you instantly feel inadequate. What just happened? You let your mind measure your worth by someone else's highlight reel. And if you don't interrupt that cycle, it will drain your confidence day after day until you feel like nothing you do is ever enough. There will always be someone richer, fitter, smarter, more accomplished, or more attractive. If your value depends on being ahead of others, you will never arrive. The goalpost will keep moving, and your mind will keep whispering, "You're behind. You're not enough." But here's the truth. Comparison is unfair because you never see the full picture. You see the polished moment, not the messy process. You see the stage performance, not the backstage struggle. You see the smile, not the sacrifices. And yet your brain acts as if you've seen everything. That distorted perception creates pain. And pain repeated becomes a habit. That's why comparison feels automatic. Your mind has been trained to turn admiration into self-punishment. Awareness is always the first step. Start catching the thought as soon as it appears. Look at them, and look at me. Don't let it slip by unnoticed. Call it out for what it is: comparison trying to steal your confidence. Every moment spent comparing is a moment stolen from your own growth. Instead of asking, "Why don't I have what they have?" ask, "What step can I take today to improve myself?" That one step, even if it's small, does more for your future than hours of comparison ever could. Most people compare themselves because they've never clearly defined what success means for them. Without your own standard, you'll always borrow someone else's. So write it down. Maybe success for you is consistency in your health. Maybe it's stability in your finances. Maybe it's being fully present with your family. Whatever it is, measure yourself only against that. When you live by your own definition, other people's achievements stop feeling like threats. They become irrelevant to your journey. Gratitude is comparison's greatest enemy. When you practice gratitude, you stop obsessing over what you lack and start recognizing what you already have. Each morning, write down 3 things you appreciate about your life, your body, your progress, your opportunities. Gratitude doesn't ignore your challenges. It simply gives you a balanced view. And balance kills comparison. Your environment fuels your thoughts. Spend hours scrolling social media, and comparison is inevitable. Limit the inputs that trigger it. Choose spaces where growth is real, where people share struggles as well as wins, where authenticity matters more than appearances. The less fuel you give comparison, the weaker it becomes. This is a tough one, but it's powerful. When someone succeeds, celebrate them. Congratulate them. Remind yourself, their win is not my loss. Their path is not my path. Their timeline is not my timeline. By celebrating without shrinking, you train your brain to see others as inspiration, not competition. Keep a record of your own wins. Write down the progress you've made, big or small. When comparison creeps in, look back at your list. It will remind you how far you've come. Progress is easy to miss in the moment, but when you see it written down, you realize you're moving forward faster than you thought. Your brain is wired to compare. It's how humans survived in groups. But today, with constant exposure to millions of curated lives, the comparison reflex is on overdrive. Recognize this. It's not your fault that comparison happens, but it is your responsibility to redirect it. Imagine how much energy you would save if you stopped comparing. Imagine how much progress you'd make if all that attention went into your own growth. Imagine waking up excited about your journey instead of discouraged by someone else's. That is the life waiting for you when you break the cycle of comparison. Most people don't realize this, but overwhelm is rarely about how many problems you have. It's about how many problems you are trying to carry in your mind all at once. The brain was not designed to juggle 10 different issues simultaneously. It was designed to focus clearly on one problem, solve it, then move to the next. But what do most people do? They pile every issue into their head. Money, health, relationships, work, goals, and try to solve them all at the same time. No wonder they feel anxious, paralyzed, and exhausted. When you overload your mind, it begins to imagine worst-case scenarios. It loses focus. Instead of finding solutions, it spins in circles. That panic is not proof you can't handle life. It's proof you're trying to handle too much at once. Your brain loves to exaggerate when it tries to hold everything inside. But once you write your problems on paper, they stop feeling infinite. You see them clearly. You realize they are separate issues, not one giant storm. This simple act often reduces stress immediately. Not all problems are equal. Some need immediate attention. Others can wait. If you try to give them all the same weight, you create chaos. So ask, what is the one issue I must face first? Handle that, then move on to the next. Prioritization is not avoidance, it's strategy. Don't half-solve 3 problems. Fully solve one. Even if it's small, complete it. Finishing builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. And confidence makes the next problem easier. Your mind loves to mix past regrets with future worries. It wants to solve yesterday and tomorrow while ignoring today. Train yourself to ask, what problem can I act on right now? Focus there. Let the rest wait. Large issues are paralyzing if you treat them as one massive wall. But when you break them down into smaller steps, the wall becomes a staircase. Handle one step at a time. Slowly but surely, the wall disappears. Notice what happens when you face one problem at a time. Your breathing slows. Your body relaxes. The panic fades. You feel calm, focused, determined. That's because clarity restores control. And control dissolves negativity. When you juggle too many problems, you rarely finish anything. That kills confidence. But when you consistently solve one problem at a time, you prove to yourself, I can handle life. That proof builds unshakable trust in yourself. This practice isn't just about solving problems. It's about building a lifestyle of calmness. A lifestyle where you never let chaos control your mind. A lifestyle where you choose clarity over confusion, progress over panic. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're dealing with financial stress, health worries, and tension with a close friend, all at the same time. If you try to solve all three in your head at once, your mind spins. You feel paralyzed, and nothing improves. But if you focus on just one, you sit down and make a simple budget or pay one overdue bill. That's progress. Later, you book a doctor's appointment or commit to a 20-minute walk. That's progress. Then, you send one thoughtful message to your friend. That's progress. By the end of the day, you've actually moved forward in 3 areas, not because you solved everything at once, but because you handled each problem in sequence. Your brain doesn't just juggle present problems. It also drags in the past and the future. Yesterday's regrets, tomorrow's worries, all colliding in your head today. That habit destroys peace. So practice this. When your mind jumps to the past, say, that's already done. I can learn, but I cannot relive it. When your mind jumps to the future, say, that hasn't happened yet. I will face it when it arrives. Then ask, what is the one thing I can act on right now? That discipline keeps you grounded in the only place solutions exist, this moment. When you try to juggle too many problems, you make shallow, rushed decisions. But when you give full attention to one problem, you think deeper, explore more options, and choose better actions. The solutions are stronger, and the long-term results improve. Stress from juggling problems doesn't just affect your mind, it wears down your body. It disrupts your sleep, weakens your immune system, and drains your energy. But when you discipline your mind to face issues one by one, your body can finally recover. You breathe easier. You sleep better. You feel stronger. A daily practice. Write down every problem on your mind. Get them out of your head and onto paper. Circle the one that matters most today. Not all, just one. Give it your full attention. Break it down. Take the first step. After completion, choose the next one. Repeat. This is not about ignoring problems. It's about handling them with precision instead of panic. Calmness is not the absence of problems. It's the result of handling them with focus. When you stop juggling and start prioritizing, your mind quiets. Negativity loses its grip. And your confidence grows with each problem you solve. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. One problem at a time. One day at a time. That's enough. Most people waste enormous energy on things they cannot control. Other people's opinions, the economy, politics, the past, the future. They spin their wheels, obsessing over problems they have no power to change. The result? Frustration, helplessness, and negativity. The quickest way to free yourself from that cycle is simple. Shift your focus toward daily wins that you can control. Your brain needs proof that progress is possible. When you chase huge, distant goals without recognizing small wins, your brain gets discouraged. But when you stack small victories every day, your brain sees evidence. I'm moving forward. I'm not stuck. Those small wins create momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Habits: 20 minutes of exercise, reading 10 pages, journaling for 5 minutes. Effort: showing up fully at work, focusing during a conversation, giving your best in one task. Promises kept to yourself: waking up when you said you would, completing a task you planned, staying disciplined with your diet. Mindset wins: responding calmly instead of exploding. choosing a solution instead of complaining, replacing a negative thought with a positive one. These are not small. They are proof that you are building strength. Your brain has a negativity bias. It remembers failures and forgets victories. That's why you must keep a written record of your wins. Each evening, write down at least 3 things that went right. Over time, this becomes evidence you can lean on during hard days. Momentum matters. Begin each morning with a quick, achievable task. Make your bed, plan your top 3 priorities, prepare a healthy breakfast. That first win sets the tone for the day. It tells your brain, we're capable, we're moving forward. Most people quit because they set massive goals without recognizing progress along the way. If your goal is to lose 20 pounds, celebrate every workout. If your goal is to write a book, celebrate each page. If your goal is to grow a business, celebrate each customer. Each micro-win is a step closer, and every step counts. Perfection is discouraging. Progress is motivating. Ask yourself daily, am I better than yesterday? Did I take at least 1 step forward? Did I honor 1 promise to myself? When you measure progress instead of perfection, you stay consistent. Every minute spent comparing yourself to others or obsessing over uncontrollable events is a minute stolen from your wins. Protect your attention. Spend it where it creates growth, not where it creates frustration. Notice how you feel after a day of focusing on what you can't control. Anxious, heavy, powerless. Now notice how you feel after a day of stacking wins. Lighter, calmer, stronger. That emotional shift is proof. Daily wins change not only your actions but your state of mind. Imagine living 1 full year with this practice. Every day you gather small wins. Some days they're big, some days they're small, but they all count. By the end of the year, you've stacked hundreds of victories. That identity, someone who wins daily, changes everything. You no longer see yourself as stuck. You see yourself as progressing. And that identity fuels even bigger growth. Let's take this further. Winning daily is not just about feeling good. It's about rewiring your brain. Every time you recognize a win, your brain releases a small dose of dopamine. That chemical is your body's natural reward signal. Over time, your brain begins to crave more of the actions that create that feeling. This is how new habits stick. Not by sheer willpower alone, but by associating actions with rewards. The more you celebrate daily wins, the easier it becomes to repeat them. Instead of writing long essays, keep it simple. At the end of each day, write 3 bullet points. What did I finish today? Where did I show discipline today? How did I grow today? Even on tough days, you'll find something. Maybe you kept calm during stress. Maybe you resisted a bad habit. Maybe you just got out of bed when you didn't want to. That counts. Over weeks and months, this victory journal becomes a personal archive of proof. On days when negativity tries to drag you down, flip through it. You'll see page after page of evidence that you're stronger than you think. Wins don't happen by accident. They're designed. Create rituals that guarantee momentum. For example, morning ritual. Make your bed, drink water, review your goals. Midday ritual. 10 minutes of movement, short reflection, gratitude note. Evening ritual. Victory journal, next day planning, calming routine. These rituals stack small wins across your entire day. Instead of waiting for a big event, you end the day knowing you've already won. Celebrating wins out loud makes them stronger. Share them with a trusted friend, mentor, or group. When you tell someone else, you double the power of the win because now it's recognized, validated, and remembered. And here's the hidden benefit. Hearing others share their wins motivates you to keep stacking your own. Success becomes contagious. The most powerful way to make daily wins permanent is to connect them to who you are. Stop saying, I'm trying to be disciplined, and start saying, I am disciplined. Identity drives consistency. When you see yourself as someone who wins daily, you'll act accordingly. Even when motivation fades, identity remains. Don't just celebrate daily, zoom out each week. Look at your progress from a wider angle. Write down, what went right this week? What challenges did I overcome? What am I proud of? This reflection strengthens your belief in growth. It reminds you that even if you had rough days, you're still moving forward overall. At first, daily wins might feel small, but over months and years, the compounding effect is massive. You develop unshakable confidence, not because everything went perfectly, but because you trained your brain to see progress everywhere. This is how you stop negative thoughts from dominating your life, by proving to yourself every day that you are growing stronger, calmer, and more capable. Negative thoughts don't appear in a vacuum. They are fueled by habits that keep stress alive. If you don't cut these habits off, your progress will always feel temporary. But once you identify and replace them, your mind begins to feel lighter and calmer every day. Overthinking is the habit of replaying problems without acting on them. It tricks you into feeling productive, but it produces nothing but exhaustion. The fix: set a timer. Give yourself 10 minutes to think through the problem, write down possible solutions, then choose one action step. After that, stop thinking and start acting. Every notification drags your brain into distraction. Social media algorithms are designed to keep you comparing, scrolling, and feeling inadequate. The more you check, the more anxious you become. The fix: set phone-free zones in your day, like the first hour after waking and the last hour before bed. Protect your mind during those times. Trying to do 5 things at once is not efficiency, it's chaos. Multitasking scatters your focus and doubles your stress. The fix: adopt single tasking. Pick one task, silence distractions, set a timer, and give it full attention. You'll finish faster and feel calmer. If you constantly agree to things you don't want to do, you fill your schedule with obligations that drain you. Resentment builds. Stress grows. The fix: practice saying no politely but firmly. Protect your time and energy. Remember, every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters. Negativity thrives in a tired, unhealthy body. Skipping sleep, eating junk, avoiding movement, all of these fuel stress. The fix: respect the basics. Sleep, nutrition, and exercise are not luxuries. They are your foundation. Take care of your body and your mind will follow. Complaining gives you the illusion of release, but it actually reinforces stress by keeping your focus on the problem. The fix: create a rule. For every complaint, propose at least one solution. That shifts your energy from helplessness to power. Unspoken tension grows heavier over time. Avoiding difficult talks keeps stress alive in the background of your mind. The fix: face the conversation directly. Speak calmly, clearly, and respectfully. The short discomfort of honesty is lighter than the long weight of avoidance. Each of these habits might feel small on its own, but together they create constant pressure in your mind and body. Breaking them is not about perfection, it's about awareness and replacement. One by one, cut them off. Replace them with clarity, discipline, and calm. When you stop feeding stress with bad habits, your mind feels freer. Your thoughts quiet down. You start to notice joy again. You feel in control of your day instead of being controlled by it. That freedom is priceless. Let's go deeper into how these hidden stress-feeding habits can be replaced with empowering alternatives. Remember, the goal isn't just to remove bad habits. The real transformation comes when you replace them with behaviors that create calm, strength, and clarity. Overthinking is dwelling on problems with no movement. Action thinking is quickly moving from problem possibility next step. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" switch to, "What can I do right now?" This simple pivot turns endless mental loops into forward motion. Your brain reflects what you consume. If your first input of the day is chaos on your phone, your thoughts will carry chaos all day. Replace phone checking with one positive input in the morning. Read one page of a book, listen to uplifting audio, or write in your journal. Give your brain clarity before the world gives it noise. When you multitask, you dilute your energy. When you time block, you focus your energy. Choose one task, set a 30 to 60-minute block, and commit fully. After the block, rest for a few minutes before starting the next. This rhythm creates calm productivity and reduces stress dramatically. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you say no to what does. Instead of reflexively saying yes, pause. Ask yourself, does this align with my goals, values, and priorities? If the answer is no, decline politely. Protect your energy for what matters most. Your body is the container for your mind. If it's weak, tired, or starved of nutrients, your mental strength collapses. Create small daily rituals. Drink water before coffee. Stretch for 5 minutes when you wake. Move your body daily, even if it's just a walk. Go to bed on time. These are not luxuries, they are mental health necessities. Complaining keeps you powerless. Problem-solving language gives you control. Instead of saying, "This always goes wrong," say, "This is tough, but here's what I can do next." Language matters because it programs your brain. The words you repeat become the beliefs you live by. Stress thrives in silence. Unspoken conflicts weigh heavier than spoken ones. Learn to say what you need with calm honesty. For example, "I value this relationship, so I want to be clear about what I need. I felt hurt when this happened, and I want us to fix it." Courageous communication clears the air, cuts the roots of stress at the source. Catastrophizing means always imagining the worst-case scenario. Balanced thinking means recognizing multiple possibilities. Whenever your mind paints a disaster, ask yourself, what else could happen? What's the best-case scenario? What's the most likely scenario? This resets your perspective and lowers stress instantly. Constant stimulation keeps your brain tense. Silence resets it. Schedule daily silent spaces, moments with no phone, no music, no input. Just breathing, reflecting, or observing. Even 10 minutes can reset your mental system. Perfectionism is the enemy of peace. Keeps you stuck, never satisfied. Shift your standard to progress. Ask yourself, did I move forward today? Instead of, was it flawless? This standard creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Each time you replace one stress-feeding habit with a stress-reducing one, you stack piece on top of piece. Over time, this creates a domino effect. Your thoughts quiet down. Your emotions stabilize. Your confidence grows. Stress no longer feels like an endless storm. It becomes something you can manage, control, and minimize. And here's the truth. Most of your stress is self-inflicted, which means you also have the power to stop it. One of the biggest differences between people who thrive and people who stay stuck is how they look at life. Most people are trained by habit to see problems everywhere. A challenge appears, and instantly their mind asks, "Why me? What if this ruins everything?" But the few who break free have trained themselves to see possibility instead. The same challenge appears, and their mind asks, "Where is the opportunity here? What can I learn? What can I build from this?" This shift doesn't happen automatically. It is a discipline, a muscle you must build. Your brain has a survival bias. For thousands of years, spotting danger quickly meant survival. That's why your brain is naturally wired to notice problems more than possibilities. But in today's world, this bias works against you. Most of the dangers you imagine are not life-threatening. They're just challenges. And when you exaggerate them, your mind drowns in negativity. The fix? You must retrain your brain to balance the picture, to notice possibilities with the same speed it notices problems. When a problem appears, your mind often predicts disaster. For example, you make a mistake at work, "I'll probably lose my job." A friend doesn't reply, "They must hate me." You try something new, "This will end in failure." These are predictions, not facts. The first step is to catch them. Ask yourself, is this guaranteed? Or is it just my brain exaggerating? Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, ask what could go right. Questions shift focus. Some examples. What's the best that could happen? How can this make me stronger? What small step forward can I take right now? These questions force your brain to search for opportunities instead of catastrophes. Your brain believes what you repeatedly show it. Start collecting examples of when things turned out better than expected. Write them down. Maybe you thought you'd fail but succeeded. Maybe you feared rejection but gained support. Maybe you worried for weeks, and the event wasn't bad at all. The more evidence you gather, the less your brain can argue against possibility. Each morning, spend 2 to 3 minutes imagining things going well. Visualize yourself handling challenges with calm, succeeding in your goals, and building the life you want. Visualization isn't fantasy. It's rehearsal. The brain responds to imagined experiences almost as if they are real. By practicing positive outcomes in your mind, you prepare yourself to act with confidence in real life. Your environment matters. Spend time around people who see potential instead of only problems. Their language, energy, and mindset will influence you more than you realize. If you constantly hear negativity, you'll expect failure. If you constantly hear possibility, you'll expect progress. Choose your circle wisely. When you train yourself to see possibility, fear shrinks, hope expands, stress lowers, action increases. Suddenly, life no longer feels like one long list of problems. It feels like a field of opportunities waiting to be explored. This shift doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means refusing to stop at them. Problems are real, yes, but they're not the end. They're the starting point for growth. Training your mind to see possibility is not a one-time shift. It's a daily practice. You cannot erase your brain's survival bias, but you can discipline it so it doesn't dominate your perspective. The key is repetition. Each time you choose to search for possibility instead of surrendering to problems, you are rewiring your neural pathways. When something goes wrong, most people stop at frustration. They replay the failure, criticize themselves, and give up. But possibility thinkers ask, what can I learn here? How can this help me next time? For example, if your presentation didn't go well, instead of saying, I'm terrible at this, reframe it into, now I know what to improve for next time. If your business idea didn't work, instead of saying, I'm a failure, reframe it into, this feedback showed me what the market really wants. Every setback contains a seed of growth, if you look for it. Your brain often whispers, what if it fails? What if people laugh? What if I lose? These questions create hesitation and paralysis. Flip the script. What if it works? What if people support me? What if I succeed? That small reframe changes your energy. Suddenly, instead of bracing for disaster, you prepare for progress. Most people practice gratitude for what they already have. That's powerful. But you can also use gratitude for what you expect to happen. Say things like, I'm grateful for the growth this challenge will bring me. I'm grateful for the opportunity to practice courage today. I'm grateful for the results I'm working toward, even if I don't see them yet. This technique tells your brain that possibility is not far away. It's already on its way. When a problem arises, most people instantly react with stress. Possibility thinkers build a different reflex. Solution first. For example, instead of saying, this is impossible, ask, what are 3 possible ways forward? Even if none are perfect, this habit keeps your brain in problem-solving mode instead of panic mode. Possibility thinking is not just about big breakthroughs. It's about noticing small opportunities each day. Maybe it's a chance to learn a skill, connect with someone new, or handle a challenge calmly. Each time you recognize and celebrate these small possibilities, you reinforce the belief that life is full of chances, not just obstacles. Neuroscience shows that your brain strengthens the pathways you use most. If you repeatedly focus on problems, your brain wires itself for fear and doubt. If you repeatedly focus on possibilities, your brain wires itself for courage and confidence. Possibility thinking is not blind optimism. It's strategic focus. It's choosing to direct your energy toward solutions, growth, and opportunity instead of drowning in fear. When you see possibilities, you take more action. You build more resilience. You attract more opportunities because people are drawn to those who radiate hope instead of despair. Soon, your life begins to expand, not because the world changed, but because you trained your perspective. Just as your body has an immune system to fight disease, your mind needs an emotional immune system to fight negativity. Without it, every insult, setback, or piece of bad news knocks you down. With it, you can absorb challenges, recover faster, and stay focused. Negativity will always exist. People will doubt you. Circumstances will test you. Thoughts will try to sabotage you. The question is, Do you crumble each time, or do you bounce back stronger? That depends on your emotional immunity. The strongest source of negativity isn't other people. It's the voice inside your head. If you don't manage that voice, you'll never feel strong. Start by noticing what you tell yourself when things go wrong. Then rewrite it. Instead of, "This always happens to me," say, "This is one challenge, not my whole life." Instead of, "I'm weak," say, "I'm learning to get stronger." Instead of, "I can't handle this," say, "I've handled things before. I can handle this too." Your inner narrative is the shield that protects you from negativity. Negativity spreads like a virus. If you constantly surround yourself with pessimistic, angry, or toxic people, you will absorb their energy. Set boundaries. Limit your exposure. Choose uplifting conversations, growth-minded friends, and environments that build you instead of drain you. Protecting your space is part of protecting your peace. The difference between weak emotional immunity and strong emotional immunity is recovery speed. Someone criticizes you. Do you replay it for weeks or shake it off in hours? You face a setback. Do you quit for months or get back up tomorrow? The faster you recover, the stronger your emotional immunity. Practice shortening your bounce-back time. Each time, make the recovery quicker. Anchors are practices or reminders that ground you when negativity strikes. Examples: deep breathing to calm your body. A mantra like, "This moment will pass." A memory of past strength to remind you you've survived before. Anchors keep you steady when emotions try to knock you over. Just as you filter water before drinking it, you must filter information before believing it. Not every thought in your head is true. Not every opinion you hear matters. Not every piece of news deserves your attention. Ask, does this thought help me or harm me? Does this comment deserve space in my mind? If not, let it go. Protecting your filter keeps your emotional system clean. Emotional immunity does not mean you never feel pain, stress, or negativity. It means you don't stay there. You process it, learn from it, and move forward without letting it infect your entire life. This is one of the most powerful skills you can build. With strong emotional immunity, no insult, no failure, no storm can destroy you. You remain calm, grounded, and resilient, no matter what comes. We've covered the core foundations of emotional immunity: controlling your inner narrative, limiting negative contagion, recovering faster, using anchors, and filtering your inputs. Now let's expand on the advanced tools that will make this immunity stronger and more automatic. Most people take every negative word or event personally. Someone criticizes them, and they internalize it as truth. Someone ignores them, and they interpret it as rejection. Emotional immunity requires detachment. Remind yourself, their reaction is about them, not me. If someone is angry, it might reflect their stress, not your worth. If someone doubts you, it reflects their fear, not your ability. When you detach, you free yourself from carrying emotional baggage that never belonged to you. Routines train your brain to reset after stress. Without them, negativity lingers too long. Create simple, repeatable routines that signal your body and mind to recover. Examples: a 15-minute workout after a stressful day. Journaling your thoughts before bed to clear your mind. Listening to calming music or meditating for 5 minutes. These routines act as reset buttons. Instead of staying stuck in negativity, you recover quickly and regain strength. Negativity often feels overwhelming because you're zoomed in too closely. Emotional immunity means zooming out. Ask yourself, will this matter 5 years from now? Am I exaggerating this moment? What's one hidden benefit of this challenge? Perspective shrinks problems. What felt like a crisis becomes just another step in your growth. Your identity acts as your strongest shield. If you see yourself as fragile, negativity breaks you easily. If you see yourself as resilient, negativity bounces off. Repeat identity-based affirmations. I am stronger than setbacks. I am someone who grows through challenges. I am calm under pressure. Identity shapes behavior. When you believe you are resilient, your actions naturally match that belief. Gratitude is not just about feeling good. It's about neutralizing negativity. When you focus on what's going right, it's harder for negativity to dominate. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, pause and name 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. This shifts your mind from scarcity to abundance, from stress to strength. With these practices, negativity stops controlling your life. Problems still show up, but they don't destroy you. Criticism still stings, but it doesn't paralyze you. Stress still appears, but it doesn't linger. You become like a tree with deep roots. Storms may shake you, but they cannot uproot you. That is emotional immunity. Your mind, like your body, gets tired, cluttered, and weighed down by the end of each day. If you never reset it, negativity piles up. You carry yesterday's doubts into today's opportunities, and today's stress into tomorrow's plans. The solution is simple. Design a daily reset ritual for your mind. Just as athletes stretch after training, you must clear your mental system after each day. It prevents negative thoughts from carrying over into the next day. It lowers stress so you can sleep deeply and wake up refreshed. It reinforces calmness and clarity as your baseline state. Without it, your mind is like a messy desk. Papers everywhere, chaos in every corner. With it, your mind is like a clean workspace, organized, calm, and ready. Spend 5 minutes reflecting on your day. Write down, what went well today? What challenged me today? What did I learn today? Reflection turns random events into lessons. It organizes your thoughts and prevents your brain from looping them all night. Before sleep, release any emotions you don't want to carry. Write them down, speak them out loud, or breathe them out during meditation. Tell yourself, this belongs to today, not tomorrow. By clearing emotional weight, you prevent your mind from dragging negativity into the next morning. Stress often comes from uncertainty. Before bed, choose your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. Write them down. This way, when you wake up, you already know what matters. Your mind is calm because it's not trying to juggle 100 tasks. Your mind and body are connected. End your day with a physical reset. Stretch, walk slowly, or take a warm shower. This signals your nervous system to relax. A calm body leads to a calm mind. End with gratitude. Write down or speak out 3 things you're thankful for from the day. This closes the day on a positive note, training your brain to end with peace instead of stress. When you reset your mind daily, negativity has no chance to accumulate. Each morning you wake up with a clean slate, not yesterday's clutter. This habit compounds into stronger clarity, deeper peace, and better sleep. Over weeks and months, your entire mindset shifts. You become someone who doesn't just survive stress, you dissolve it each day before it takes root. Let's take your reset ritual even deeper. A true reset doesn't just clear your thoughts. It resets your emotions, your body, and your spirit. This is how you ensure negativity never piles up and overwhelms you. Before bed, tell yourself a simple closing line that separates today from tomorrow. For example, today is complete. I did enough. I release what I cannot control. Tomorrow is a new chance. This signals to your subconscious mind that the day has ended. It helps you stop replaying old conversations, mistakes, or worries while you try to sleep. Don't wait until night to reset. Throughout the day, take 2 to 3 minute breaks to breathe, stretch, or step outside. These micro-resets keep your stress from building into a storm. Think of them as small emotional showers that wash negativity off before it sticks. Sound has the power to reset emotions. You can use calming music, healing silence, or prayer/meditation depending on your belief system. This isn't about religion or entertainment. It's about tuning your inner state. A quiet mind is a strong mind. Before sleep, imagine placing all your worries into a box and locking it. Or imagine them floating away like balloons. Visualization gives your brain a clear picture that the load is no longer yours to carry tonight. Most people treat self-care like an option. But if you want lasting peace, your reset ritual must become non-negotiable. Like brushing your teeth. You don't reset only when you feel like it. You reset every day no matter what. That consistency is what trains your brain to release negativity automatically. When you reset daily, you stop carrying emotional baggage. You wake up with clarity and strength. You create space for new ideas, creativity, and peace. Instead of living in survival mode, you begin each day with a clear, calm, focused mind. And that changes everything. We've covered powerful tools. Stop believing every thought. Question the repeated stories. End self-criticism. Interrupt fear before it controls you. Train your brain to expect good. Break the cycle of comparison. Calm your mind by focusing on one problem at a time. Rewire your focus toward daily wins. Cut off habits that feed stress. Design daily resets for peace. Each of these is a weapon against negativity. But together they form a system that doesn't just help you survive negative thoughts, but one that teaches your mind to work for you, not against you. Imagine living with this system for a year. You wake up each morning protecting your peace. You face problems with clarity instead of panic. You act even when fear whispers. You stop tearing yourself down and start building yourself up. Your confidence grows. Your energy rises. Your focus sharpens. And your life expands because negative thoughts no longer control you. Negative thoughts will still appear. You can't erase them completely, but they don't need to rule you. They don't need to dictate your emotions, your decisions, or your future. You have the power to filter them, to reject the ones that weaken you, to choose the ones that strengthen you, to replace the old stories with new ones. This is the real quick fix. Not magic, not hype, just consistent practice of mental discipline. Right now, you stand at a turning point. You can continue letting negative thoughts run your life, or you can take back control. Decide today, not every thought deserves my belief. Decide today, I will feed my mind with strength, not poison. Decide today, I am the author of my story, not my fears. When you stop negative thoughts from controlling you, you unlock calmness, confidence, and clarity. You begin living as the strongest version of yourself, not trapped by old voices, but guided by new choices. And the best part? You don't have to wait. The change begins the moment you decide. The moment you question one thought, celebrate one win, or reset one day, you've already started. This is how you stop negative thoughts forever. Not by erasing them, but by refusing to give them power. Not by waiting for luck, but by choosing daily discipline. Not by hoping, but by acting. Your mind is no longer your cage. It is your weapon. Use it well.